Physical requirements. If you want to be a Disney princess, you have to actually look like one. But looks alone aren't enough to get you hired. You have to have a particular body type as well as height. More than one person is working as the same character at the park at any given time. Because of that, these ladies need to be able to switch in and out of the same costumes, and also look the same as one another while doing so. To achieve this, Disney has put height and weight restrictions on the actresses who play princesses. For characters like Rapunzel, Cinderella, Snow White, and Jasmine, that means actresses should be between 5'3" and 5'7". Apparently, Mulan is shorter because she has a whole height class of her own, which is between 5'2" and 5'6". The tallest of the princesses is Tiana, and girls wanting to play her must be between the height of 5'5" and 5'8". Height isn't the only factor that goes into choosing who gets to be a Disney princess and who doesn't. Disney actually discriminates against ladies of a certain size. The largest dress size Disney allows its princesses to wear is a size 10, which is well below the national average dress size for American women. Age limit. Yes, if you're a woman of a certain age, you probably have no shot at being a Disney princess. This shouldn't be all that shocking considering the real ages of the princesses in their films. Snow White is supposed to be a 14-year-old, and Jasmine is really a 15-year-old. Pretty crazy, right? Thanks to child labor laws, hiring actual 14 and 15-year-olds to play these princesses is actually illegal. So Disney has some age requirements when it comes to hiring their Disney princesses. For instance, you must be at least 18 years old. This seems like a no-brainer, but it means these actors have to be actual adults. The oldest an actress can be is 27 years old. It's believed that most of the actresses are between 18 and 23, which means they're all probably going to college while working there. Ex-princesses have confessed to sticking around after the age of 23, only to be forced out when they're 27. Sadly, it does make sense when you look at it from the perspective of Disney. How is someone nearing their 30s going to play a 16-year-old like Princess Aurora? Though it may not be fair, it is still a rule. Consider yourself one of the lucky ones if you can slip by past the age of 27 without getting fired. You must be using some pretty potent moisturizer. Audition process. Thanks to the internet, the world finally knows just how grueling the audition process is to become a Disney princess. Before you even act, you're sized up against your competition. Did you know that it's actually better if you look like other girls at the audition? This means that all of you might get the part because they need several girls for the roles they're trying to fill. This also means you might get cut before you even show off your talent. If you're too tall or too unique looking, you might have to go home. If you're one of the lucky few who stays, prepare yourself for some back-breaking hours ahead of you. First, you must learn a simple dance routine, which can take hours for everyone to learn and perform. For ladies who make it past this round, you're finally able to show off your acting chops. At this level, you'll perform a script, as well as some improv. Anyone making it past these rounds move on to the personal interviews. You'll most likely be asked who your favorite Disney princess is at some point during the interview, but that doesn't mean you'll get to be her. Many times, they may not be hiring for that particular character. So if you came in having the hopes of being Elsa, don't get upset if you end up being cast as Cinderella. Training. If you think the audition process was crazy, just wait until you hear about the Disney Princess training. Every face character must first go through fur character training. That means princesses must learn to be Minnie Mouse or another fur character. They must do 3 days of learning the movie and signature, then 2 days of greeting guests in character. After that, princesses are given 3 days to fully become their face characters. This means they must eat, sleep, and breathe the person they were cast as. Ladies must study their princess and her movie so thoroughly that they can recite it word for word and in accent if they have one. In that time, they also have to learn how to do their own hair and makeup. Once again, because several princesses are working at any given time, all of their makeup must look the same. You can't have one Elsa walking around with purple eyeshadow while another one is wearing green. It just won't fly with Disney. Not only do you have to look the part, but you also have to act the part. Princesses need to nail their characters' mannerisms, voice inflections, and even be able to write their signature. Sounds like a lot to take on in just 5 days if you ask us. Improv skills. If it's a part of the audition process, then you better bet improv skills are needed to be a Disney princess. These girls run into hundreds of people a day, and that means they'll have hundreds of random conversations. While usually these ladies have a line or two memorized to say, there are also times that they get some pretty crazy questions. Did you know that cast members at Disney aren't allowed to say, "I don't know" to people? That means if a guest asks a princess a question, they have to answer it, even if they don't know the real answer. This can lead to some pretty embarrassing situations and even a few lies. But because these ladies are experts at improv, they keep their guests on their toes. One ex-Mulan cast member had to dodge the question of whether she spoke Chinese or not by telling guests she had a bet with Mushu to not speak Chinese that day. Sounds like some pretty quick thinking on her part, wouldn't you say? Princesses also aren't allowed to point with one finger, so they have to come up with some unusual gestures when trying to give directions. Pay attention to this the next time you're at a Disney theme park. Don't forget to smile. There are thousands of guests roaming through Disney parks every single day. Thousands of visitors mean thousands of cameras. Because of this, Disney princesses need to keep a smile on their face at all times. And since they're talking with nearly 200 guests per hour, they have to keep things moving. If they don't, it could mean getting fired. In fact, if a Disney princess is giving one guest too much of their time, they'll get written up. If they do this 4 times, they're out the door. This seems like a lot of pressure, especially since they have to keep a smile on their face and not seem stressed out. And because everyone is smiling all the time, princesses need to make sure that they take care of their teeth. That means they may use whiteners and avoid food and drinks that can stain their teeth, like coffee and soda. We aren't sure who could deal with screaming kids all day long with no coffee, especially with a smile plastered on their face. Our hats off to these ladies because that sounds intense. What can be even more intense is the first few weeks of pain that come with being a Disney princess. These girls will smile so much that they will literally be in pain at the end of their shifts. Luckily, it goes away over time.
If you haven't figured it out by now, Disney has a lot of very strict rules in place to keep the magic alive in the Magic Kingdom. It seems obvious that the cast members are not allowed to smoke, and it's really a no-brainer that they wouldn't be allowed to chew gum. In fact, there is no gum even sold anywhere in the park. Not anywhere. That's because when people spit their gum on the sidewalk, it makes dark marks on the sparkling pavement. It's very difficult to clean up, and kind of ruins the polished look and feel of the park.
No Tarzan! One of the most fun parts about Disneyland is getting to see all of your favorite Disney characters. The people inside the big, bulky costumes have to deal with a lot, but so do the people who actually expose their faces to the crowds. You might have noticed that you never see beloved Disney character Tarzan anywhere in the park, and there's a very depressing reason for that. It seems that there are some people who wish Tarzan would expose more than his face. Disney is notoriously strict when casting characters for their park, so all the actors who played Tarzan were selected to be incredibly good-looking. In addition, they also had their muscles accented with careful airbrushing. Yet, it was Tarzan's signature loincloth that proved to be irresistible to a startling number of grown women. Rather than contenting themselves with a quick photo opportunity or a warm, friendly hug with Tarzan, too many women felt free to pinch the actors on the butt. Needless to say, Tarzan couldn't actually swing on a vine away from the harassment, so the park decided to get rid of the character entirely.